Hello and welcome into the Sorare Data Show. I am Andrew Lairdinho. You can find me as Lairdinho on Sorare, joined by Keith Jamison, GatorGuy231. He's back. It's been forever, Keith.
I know. I feel like this is like the second. It's been a while. Just
things happen.
It's a weird time of year, isn't it?
So it is. And in fairness, one of those weeks, was it last week? Last week. Like I was off. And so I'm not going to blame you for that. I'll probably not blame you for any of them.
No. I'm not accepting blame from them either. So.
Fair enough. Thank you to everybody for coming in. We got Bergkamp's Revenge. 'Tis a day for podiums. Toby can't win anything if you don't have a lineup. And Bob Franklin back on the podium. I'm way too lazy to go back and check, but I think Bob has been on the podium 100 streams in a row. So well done.
So so he's doing a longer streak than my button tweet, is what you're saying?
Wow.
Catching some heat. I'm catching some heat.
Yeah, you are. But anyway, Arthur, thanks for coming in. Kev, Stefan, ZM Star, a show about hope. Ask Finster if he has any. Poor Finster.
Hold on. No, not poor Finster. I think Finster is becoming the hero of the story. It's Sean becoming the villain.
Yeah, maybe. So before I welcome the other people in, because Finster has something to do with this, kind of, I used the term glass half full with my son, who's 13, the other day, and he was like, I kept talking. I'm like, do you have any idea what that means? And he was like, no. And I was like, all right. So I explained him the whole glass half full thing. And I feel like that conversation with about Finster was all somewhat of a glass half full of is he stealing from us or not? And it's just I feel like it's not exactly the same thing, optimism versus pessimism, but it made me think of that a lot of us, those of us who are on hashtag free Finster, I feel like are glass half full people.
I think you're giving Sean too much credit, giving him glass half full. I think there's a large majority that are on Finster's side on this.
Okay, that's fair. Stadenko, what's up? Ian. Ian said, you mean the leech, Finster. Rasko Masaki, if Hamilton has taught me anything, it's that I'm not throwing away my shot. There we go. Now we are talking. Rui, what's up? Toby throwing some shade at me. The value of being on time. It's my bad. I was too busy degenning. I'm sorry.
Well, and then once you were done, which was actually in time, then all the technology broke. So.
Oh yeah, that is also true. Yeah, I'll blame YouTube for that as well. Anyway, thank you everybody for coming in. The topic today is one that I feel like we have tried to touch on previously. And I think part of it is, it's a part of Sorare that we all kind of take for granted and also ignore and don't want to address, not because of anything other than it kind of hides or it helps explain some certain things that we just prefer to be negative about. And we're going to get into that because we need to talk about it. Surface is here. What's up, Surface? I will also say that Toby, who is Man United Toby on Sorare and maybe on YouTube, usually. Oh yeah. Oh no, you are just Tobias. Excuse me. I'm going to give Toby credit, despite throwing me under the bus here. I'm going to give Toby credit for coming up with this topic, or at least reminding us that we needed to talk about it, because it came up with my Yarbrough talk the other day, and basically did I get value out of it? And I think that what it all came back to, and particularly this value of having a shot, is I think most people on Sorare don't put a value on the entry into a tournament. And Keith, it's something that I feel like you have done since you got on, that you're there are costs to entering these competitions. Yes, they are free to enter, but you do have to pay something to get the pieces to enter these competitions. And so I feel like you are very comfortable with this idea of like, oh yeah, I'll buy this card for whatever, and I'm going to play it. And if I don't get anything out of it, then I'll just sell the card for a little loss. And like that little loss is what I paid to have the opportunity to win something big.
Right.
And I really struggle with that because I think like a lot of other people at the end of the day, I'm just like, oh, I bought this card for $10 and now I'm selling it for $8. So I took a loss on it while ignoring that it gave me the opportunity to win $100, $500, whatever it is. And I feel like we need to talk about this more because and this isn't like, hey, go sell all your cards at losses. But I think there is an inherent value to these cards that like allow you to enter competitions where you could win much bigger money or value of things than you have, but we don't really think of it ever.
Right. And I think it's also, I think the longer you've been on the platform, the harder it is to actually like do that, because you were in the mode of, I can buy a guy for $100 and he'll be 1,000 in a couple tweets, right? Like
Right.
just random stuff's going to happen. And now it's like, all right, especially if you go new season with this, if you go $900 or not $900, what's $900 these days? $90, and he's worth 62 weeks later. You're like, oh, did I make a bad buy? Probably not. Just the reality of like what happens with the new season utility. And if you legitimately had a shot to win $500, well, then wasn't 30 worth it?
No, because I didn't win.
Like your Yarborough take, was that this week? Or was that was that on your back episode?
Yes.
That does not feel like that was Monday. That's like 2 weeks ago, it feels like. But that, I actually thought the way you were like questioning it was absurd. Like questioning if this was an okay buy. It was an absurd take. Like, how was it? Like you used him how many times?
Yeah, probably 15, maybe.
It
was basically every start until his last two. Yeah,
I'm riding Yarborough down to $0, and I haven't won a damn thing. You somehow won with his like. How? Speaking of that, how do you win anything, Laird, with 12 from a goalkeeper? Or 21?
I didn't.
I thought you won something.
So there were 4 times. Let's see. I'll just pull this up. There were 4 games or 4 lineups that I had that won something with Yarborough,
which is crazy.
And it's very simple to see which 4 it happened to be. Literally, the 4 green scores were when I won, and then I did not win any of these others.
It was all cat mode, right?
Yeah.
I think he's
No. I had I think I did one. I think I put him into challengers once.
Okay.
But I don't think I won it. No, you're right. It's 4.
Yeah, I mean,
4 thresholds and then a card.
I mean, he was great for cat mode because his hit was always like less. His hit was less than what you get for a start. So you're just like, dude, just don't get blown up, and he always got blown up. Just having the attempt, I think, is worth it. Now, you could actually make a big argument that Yarborough is a horrible example for this entire thing because he single-handedly cost me more thresholds than anything. Because, no, let me finish, then you can do your thing. Because he was only like a 29, I thought I could put this player in. Like, I could have made many different decisions to at least like scrounge together a lower threshold, and Yarborough over and over again just messed that up really bad with like on 29 getting a 12 or a 0 or all the crazy things that he did.
So I don't want to say like you're wrong with that, because I think because you had other opportunities.
Right. I could have used. I got a lot of really old, terrible MLS super goalkeepers, and
like Tim Melia could have been in there,
which he also fucks stuff up.
Well, that's true.
Stephen Fry has always been on like a low one. I have Steve Clark, who I've broken nose probably during that time, but I have some old dudes. I have a good amount.
So Toby brings this up, and he said this to me in the DM. He said, with Yarbrough, if I didn't have the keeper, but I had the 4 outfield players, like those 4 cards are dead for those 15 game weeks. And so just having Yarbrough allowed me the opportunity to use those cards to potentially win something.
100%.
His best card also, as he said, the only issue is I got Yarbrough, not that I got a keeper. But like Yarbrough was the keeper at the time that was available.
Well, so like we might want to maybe do this as like the second part of this, but there is the value of having a lineup, and then there's the value of having a good lineup. And like if you're going to do this temporary strategy, a lot of times you're better off spending a little bit more, which sucks. Like nobody really enjoys that.
Yeah.
But you could pick up this $7 rare that has a good, like, this is the thing I've been like thinking about a lot lately, and like what I did so wrong and so for a while is I genuinely enjoy looking at the matchups and going, this is a matchup that other people might not think is very good. But I think this piece of crap guy that has an average of 35, he could actually do really well in this. And the reality is he's never going to do as well as Carlos Gil or Lucho Acosta or insert your stud guy, Kevin De Bruyne. It was always better getting those type of guys, not trying to like.
Yeah, I mean,
like I can remember like getting, this is like when prices were a lot more, but for one game week, buying Miguel Torren when he was at Argentinos Junior. He was pretty good. He wasn't spectacular. There was a lot of other better players you could get than Miguel Torren or Avalos still in my gallery from that.
Wow, is he really?
Oh, yeah. I mean, as much as I say sell the guys after, I don't always follow through. Mm-hmm. I have a graveyard of a lot of guys that I bought for a week.
Sure, I mean, we all do.
And normally the worst part is you buy them for one game week. They serve their purpose. You might even win with them. You're like, oh, that matchup's okay. Or, oh, I can plug him in 220 this week. And that's another lineup. And before you know, it's been 4 weeks. The guy's been benched or he's injured, and now he's stuck.
It happens, though.
It happens. That's part of the game.
It is funny to me that when you tried to adopt this like DFS strategy of like, I'm going to pick the top guy each week and buy him, and you kind of ignored the work that went into it. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, this does take actually a little more effort than.
It's actually funny because I think everybody's at different levels or different times in their Sorare journey. Like when I first started my Sorare journey, work wasn't nearly as busy either. Mm-hmm. So, and I know you hate this, so I'm sorry. The stakes were so much higher. Like you find a little more time sometimes for a $10,000 potential payday or a $15,000 potential payday.
No, I don't think you don't need to apologize for that.
I mean, it's the truth. When first prize is like 500,000, which is still great. You still get super excited. It just carving out sometimes that extra time to do that. It's a little bit harder when the stakes are a little bit lower. But yeah, I mean, I used to absolutely love it. Like Underdog, greatest tournament ever. And Sorare history, if that's not a special weekly, I don't know what we're doing. But yeah, I still think it's really fun. I really actually enjoy that part of Sorare. And if you can do it, I think you should. I think there's still a lot of expected value in that. And especially if you can get off the card, if you can like be diligent and go, the game week's closed, doesn't matter my result. I bought Hani Mukhtar. I bought whatever guy. And you just get off and go, I don't care that it's an okay matchup this week. I was buying him for this past week. He was in a lineup. What happened. I paid $210. He's worth $180. My entry fee was $30. If you can do that, I think you're going to be profitable. It's when you hold them longer and you make justifiable reasons and all that. That if you just want to look at that one little microtransaction, you're gonna look like an L. But like you are the king of doing this in a good way. You will go, this card won me this, and that card won me this, which eventually led to this, and you can really justify and make yourself feel really good at that point for a lot of cards.
I will say that I think my greatest skill in life is being able to backhandedly justify every single purchase I've made on Sorare. Because
oh god, let me hold on. How's that Dusan Tadic justification going?
So I really didn't want to talk about this. I looked at this yesterday. Like, honest to God,
I had no idea that you did. I had no idea.
So, and I'm not actually going to go where I think you might think this is going. But one of the things I do with Tadic, that's actually not fair. So for those of you who are unaware, Keith and I both own Dusan Tadic rare cards that we paid exorbitant amounts for at a time when that's what they cost.
And he was also like top 5 forward on the platform. And we had I think we should mention this too. We had an explicit reason for owning him, which was to play an All-Star Rare Pro plus whatever you want to call it.
Yep. So I'll even pull this up. This is the Tadic that I own, which I paid 2.185 ETH for a rare card.
Yep.
Thought it was a steal, to be honest. I sold a Martin Van de Voort for like 2.8 or something like that. And that day I bought Tadic. So I was looking back, and Keith, I basically won nothing with this card.
Have you really didn't?
So I've won
filter just you.
Yeah, I meant to do that. So like I've won 25 cards, and I guess there must have been some thresholds. Yeah, there's a threshold.
I see Jesus.
Oh, it's All-Star Red. That's why, because I won back in the good old days. But anyway.
Oh yeah.
So I was just looking at this, and I was just like, man, the value of the rewards when I won them was $4,000, and those values right now are 1,400. And I'm just like, this actually led me to something else. Well, actually, here's just the example. Like Marcus Ingvartsen was worth I sold this card.
Right.
Actually. Excuse me. Sent it to Pavel. Let's see how disastrous this one was.
Oh, I remember this. This was for the World Cup, baby. Yes.
Yeah.
The best part is that you thought that Aaron Long and Matt Turner were going to bring you to the promised land.
They gave me a shot.
Oh, I know. Well,
but anyway,
in your mind, they did.
That's a good point. But I was just like looking at these cards, like, and it was like $227 that was worth at the time, and now it's $7.25. And I saw this earlier today. Somebody is selling a level 20 Mbappe rare, and I was like, I bet that card has won a ton. And so I was looking, and it has, but it's like $39,000 worth of rewards.
Yeah.
But there was one. Here it was. It was like, it won Neuer. At the time, Neuer was $5,000.
Yeah.
And now like 415.
Oops.
And I don't know why I brought that up, because like this is what I was doing with Tadic yesterday. I was like looking, and I'm like, man, that card was worth a lot. And now that's like not worth that much. And I'm not all that bothered.
So this actually brings up like a really good example with the whole taking a shot thing. Is like this was, I actually want to pull mine up too, just to give it maybe a better example of, I have one. So you paid what, 2.1 ETH?
2.18.
And I paid 3.3 ETH for a rare card. And he has won, it said for me, 42 rewards. 42 rewards. And like look at that, $19,000 worth of cards.
Alex Merritt, 23.74. He was worth dollars, and now it's 64.
But I want to actually let's use that Alex Merritt example. So that was a star reward.
Yep.
I got 5th place. This is where I'm going to ask everybody to take a leap with me. I had a chance at first. I don't remember the game week at all, but obviously my lineup was good enough that it got all the way up to 5th. And is that Rare Plus?
Yes.
Is that Rare Plus? So it got all the way up to 5th in Rare Plus.
Do you remember the lineup?
I have no idea.
Oh, I
remember where I was when I opened the reward. I was at Peppa Pig Park.
310. Wow. Let's see.
Yeah,
you sold that card almost immediately too.
Yeah, I sold it. I have a really weird memory. You know this. I remember
Look at this game week.
Yeah, it was a good game week. I got Carlos Acevedo for like 2nd place.
Ooh.
I don't know how good that.
And Challenger Europe 9th place.
Yeah, it was a good week. I remember that. That was Kirkez, which I should have sold right away. But okay.
Teddy.
So look. Oh my God. Oh, I actually remember this. Sean's going to listen. Sean doesn't. He doesn't, but somebody might tip him off. He, as Sean admitted on Tuesday or whatever it was, Sean is mean to people he likes. He was very mean to me here. I bought Remco just for this lineup. I spent like almost an ETH for him. I had Anthony Morris, who was the USG goalkeeper, but they were away, if I remember right. I believe they were away.
Did you play him somewhere else? Oh, they were away, yeah.
And he put up 72. I would have won.
Oh, I remember this.
Yeah, and this was like, early on in the whole correlation versus like you always correlate your super rare defender with your goalkeeper. But where I'm trying to make the leap here is not like doing that. I didn't even remember the lineup, but obviously if you get 5th, you had a chance at first. You obviously had good enough scores that first was a chance. So what would have first have gotten me money wise, $3,447. If I remember the fiat on Tadic, it was 5,200 something. So
I wonder if what game we? I don't think I can.
It's not even that important. I mean, you're really gonna go rabbit hunting? Really? This is happening right now?
This is happening right now.
He's just trying to reopen a wound or something like that. Like if this didn't already happen.
It was Allison.
Oh, see, if we really want to go rabbit hunting, that would have saved me 0.85 ETH at the beginning of last season. When I spent that on Allison. Oh goodness. But do you get what I'm trying to say there? That's you got a chance at paying off Tadic right away. And even for you had a chance because you owned that card. And that was a season. Tadic was fantastic that year. It was his last Ajax year. I remember sometimes he would tilt us, but he was getting decisives every damn week.
Yeah.
It was a shock. Yeah, it's like owning Messi. Tadic at Ajax was owning Messi. It's you're surprised when he doesn't decisive.
Right.
So even though maybe on yours you didn't really capitalize, you had a chance with one of the top 5 cards on the platform for an entire season.
Yeah, this is Tadic and starts at Ajax, 65 elf or 65 average over the whole 125 starts.
Yeah, he was ridiculous. It was a great card to have, and I also put value from an entertainment perspective of the extra heartbeat when you actually do have a crazy good sweat. And again, back then, Allison was probably worth 3-4 ETH, maybe. Seems about right.
4.4 apparently.
All right, so that's enough to get the pulse going.
Yeah.
So I guess that's where I'm kind of at with the point of cards, and I think it's a different perspective of just viewing your cards and viewing your game weeks. But our buddy, See It Save It. I don't know if we've done a shout out to him on the show, but one Messi in second place. That was always his goal. Oh, look at me. Look, you're welcome. See it. Those balloons were for you.
Or for Messi.
But,
yeah.
or for Messi. But just getting a shot out there. Just you don't know what you're gonna win. You don't know, like we don't control what these guys are gonna do. Just every game week is a chance. So don't use William Yarbrough. Don't use Yarbrough though. He will not give you a chance at the good stuff.
It's weird to me because Sean and I did a whole show about like expected value, and you just consider like, oh, what's the expected value of this lineup? And you look at the first place prize and you're like, oh, that's what I can win. And there's very little, like, it's not expected cost because the cost is already there, but there's very little thought of like the cost to enter. And just this idea that, yes, it's all free to play. Like that's all we hear, but we know it's not.
Right.
Like we know you need to buy these cards, and yet we look at these entries as they should be free. Like you would never buy a lottery ticket, lose, and then expect to get all of your money back. And yet that's all we think about.
That's a great example.
And
that's a really good example.
Or even sell it for more. Like your opportunities. Obviously you could use the card again, but like it just doesn't work that way. And yet that's how we need to think about it. ZM Star said, rare Ricky Pooch breakdown for opportunity cost. He's 24, let's say 10 years left of playing, 34 MLS games a season, 340 games. If you paid 340 for the card, every time you enter him is $1 off.
Can I be honest with you? That's great work there, ZM Star. That stuff hurts my head. Expected value stuff hurts my head. I think you could make this a lot easier and just go, if I play a lineup this week, I have a chance at winning.
I don't think that there's any actual, this is weird to say, I don't think there's any actual value in calculating like the value of your entries.
No.
And I mean, if you want to do it, it make you feel better about them, then go nuts.
I mean, this is a business you can. Like, and like you have, I know this has happened in the past, you have investors or you are doing whatever, then yeah, go for it with the numbers. But like me and you playing, we can go, I have a better chance this week having Ricky Pooch in my lineup than with he's at home versus San Jose, than if I don't have him in my lineup. So I'm going to buy him because I think everybody else in here is really good. And like that's kind of where I started with this whole thing, right? Was if you have 4 really, really good players and your last player, I don't know why this is going to my head because I was making lines for this, and your last player is Tristan Blackman, you probably should consider if this is a good week to buy a better player than Tristan Blackman. Or I'll give you this is
there ever a week where it's not better to upgrade Tristan Blackman?
I mean, I guess it's once you're done with 17 lineups and you're on cap 220 rare, and you're just like, oh, everybody sucks in this lineup. Tristan,
shaded, cap 220.
I mean, that's just. I think that I like cap 220. I actually one of the few, but that's where it's on the list of priorities, right? I'm on number 17, and I'm like, Tristan Blackman, you kind of fit in with these guys. These are your people.
He's a 220 boy for sure.
He's a 220 guy. Like, you know, my random K-League guys with him, like they all get along.
ZM Star was saying the Pooch thing was more the selling at a loss. That if you consider like the value of each submission, then you can justify selling it at a loss.
But that's what we're doing with Dusan Tadic right now.
Yeah, except we're sitting here like if he plays for 100 years, then 38 games a season.
Well, like. God, when did I start?
There's always a $1 Korean defender who will bang 65 that week.
And so, like, that's kind of what I'm joking. I know I got a really good chuckle at that from Fred.
Yeah,
but like, I guess where I would mention if you're like adopting this strategy is don't buy the $1 Korean defender that might get 65, might get benched, might do whatever. Like, you know, you got to pay some equity for just knowing this guy's in a good position knowing he's the starter, knowing he normally scores really well, especially if you're just going to move him on. You can get 80% of what you paid normally, as long as he didn't get a red card, or like if you paid like the market trend for what the guy's going for over the last month, you can probably get out. But that's sorry, but like that's ZMSR's where you get in trouble with what he said about Pooch. Is like if you start justifying what he can do lifetime in your gallery, he'll stay in your gallery forever. But if you were just buying him for a week or for 2 weeks, then you need to stick to it.
Yeah, no, I think that's a very good point. I thought you were going to say, or my initial response to what you were saying was like, not everybody just plays for 1 week. Like you buy cards for 1 week sometimes with the idea of like, I need this for a week. And I was going to say not everyone does that, but you justified it by like, if that's your plan, I want this card for this game week, there should be an exit strategy that doesn't last a year. So
bring up Fripp's comment just right now. So I bought Santi Rodriguez to New York. NYC has 2 great home games, which really sucks that they weren't on a double game week. But
no. You don't want to lose utility.
I want to talk about that by the end of this.
We will.
Okay, thank you. Because that's actually a really good opportunity to buy a player too for this double game week. But Santi Rodriguez has been amazing this year. What I think is going to happen to Fripp. Fripp, you're in the chat. Please let me know. Santi Rodriguez is going to bang in these 2 games. He's going to put up like 75, 85 in both games. And then Fripp's going to go, oh, man, I really like Santi Rodriguez. And he's going to be in his gallery, including when he goes to Ligue 1 and is a bench player in a year and a half. That's what's going to happen. As now we're getting chat, you can't sell Santi. It's like, well, Fripp didn't own him. He bought him for 2 games.
No. He bought him for like all of these.
Oh, all the previous games?
All the previous. Yeah, that's what he was saying. So his was like a 2 to 3 month Santi Rodriguez move.
Oh, sorry.
Not just these 2. He's already had Santi.
But for the people that did buy Santi for these 2 games, that's what's going to happen to them.
For sure. I'll probably triple down before the league, before Ligue 1, because there'll be a Boca rumor in there.
Oh my god, it's so true.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think what you said is actually just really important. That if you are buying players for a specific period, keeping them after that period doesn't do anything for you anymore. Like, obviously it gives you more shots, but like you bought them for that good period, not for like forever.
Right.
Keith and I bought Tadic forever.
You know what's funny? I was thinking as we were talking about the Tadic thing is I remember there was a time there where he got the Fenerbahce rumor, and then I think it fell apart, but he like soared back up. It was like 0.60. I think you and I talked about if we should sell. And I think both of us were like, God, that's a huge loss. He could still do really well in Turkey. And now his name is Dusty.
All right. I'm going to try to make us feel better about this. Because I don't think that there was ever a point where we thought he would be as good at Fenerbahce than he was at Ajax. So we kind of were already like,
it's just a timeout.
Is he? But it was like, he'll still be good and usable. He'll still give us plenty of shots. And that was sort of the justification. And I'm not even sure this price graph really tells us anything, because I feel like every price graph looks like this.
Yeah, it's hard to do that.
But you were right. Like, so basically, when did I buy this?
I think
September. So like came down, and then I think
there it is. There it is. Yeah. I think that might be
actually, that's only February.
No, I think it was this. I think it was this lower one, because I think we're justifying like that. It's already a big loss.
Yeah. No, I agree. I don't know where I was going with that. We should, I mean, that's what I was going to say. I don't think you could look at the price graph and being like, see, we should have sold, because you could say that about literally every card on the platform.
For sure. But he caused a lot of heartbreak throughout this past year.
So I think the worst mentality change with that card for both of us was like, previously it was like, all right, lineup builder, all-star rare pro, Tadic. Who else do I have? And now it's like, okay, who do I have? And you're just like, Tadic triple. No, that's not right. No, I'm not doing that. And then you're just like, how far down can you go? And unfortunately, his L15 never got that low where you were like, oh, right into cap 240. But it was like, somehow he never scored well, but his L15 also never dropped.
It was also because you would like get that like bailout assist in the 91st minutes to get to 63.
Yeah.
This is not what I signed up for.
Yeah.
With
so many missed penalties. So many.
Well, then I think he lost penalties in this because
he
missed
lost
so many.
them,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're like, well, there goes that bailout.
Yeah.
That was the one thing
that goes down in the box now instead of.
But literally, like, I think the worst part though on him. Sorry to make this the Dusan Tadic show, but would be like, because Fenerbahce was like dominant, and you would see like you would go on like Sofa if you were and just see all green, right? Like the other team never touched the ball according to the game momentum, and you're like, Tadic, 13 crosses. You're like, oh, he's been involved, and then you go look and you're like, how is he at 38?
Yeah,
like everybody else
possessions lost and.
It was so painful, and hence how Dusty Dusan came to.
Toby's got a great one here.
Oh, that's a great one, yeah.
Because I believe you were on this train as well. But he said it's the same with Juan Brunetta, right? I assume all the owners are like, see, he's back now that he's in a 5-game purple patch that's still barely as good as his average at Celtics.
I sell a guy like that, so I sold him, and he's been dead to me for a while. So if he's doing well,
it's one of those that like he did well. But he wasn't Santos well.
So if you remember, like when I sold him, and shout out Nep, thank you again for the purchase. Although I think Nep actually won something big with him right away afterwards, if I recall, aka the value of a shot. So even though Brunetta's probably down from where he bought him for me, like he won something good. But I think the reality with like a Brunetta, I think I've talked about it here, but the first couple of games at Tigres, he got like those bailout goal. Like
it was total bailouts.
It was like over and over, and you're like, oh, this is not the guy I used to own. He still looks okay. He's still getting decisive, but this is not why I owned this guy.
Yeah.
I owned him for the 55 AA when they lost 4-0. That's why I owned him.
Yeah, so this is like this is the Brunetta chart. Like these are all time scores.
Do the forward card, because the forward card and the midfield card are a big difference.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't look as big of a difference there as it actually is.
Yeah, it is. So he's at 63.4 all time as a forward. Santos was 67, and it's like this run here.
Yeah,
like he was the best player on the platform.
He was and it was like what you bought Tadic for. I was like, oh, I got Brunetta coming up.
Yeah, exactly. And then at Tigres, it's 62. But as you said, like the AA, he had a few good AA games, but like
I think that's when I sold him, was there, and I think like he had a good game. I remember Net bought it. I'm like, oh, I don't know, he might be breaking out of this.
It was game week 444.
Yeah, it seems
Net bought him on January 24th, or is that what I said? This is the card. Hold on, 124. So you got this game, unless you sold, and then he just became this. And like, yeah, he's had a few good games. The AA is like starting to come back. But again, he was like the best player on the platform for a time. Yeah,
you like were expecting 80 and you were disappointed if not 80 to 100.
Totally. But that's a perfect, the Brunetta.
That's a really good example.
Just like Tadic to Fenerbahce.
But again, like using, I don't know if you saw that screen up with Neps, but like, can we actually go and see what Neps won with it? I really think that he won something good right away.
He finished 7th in Champion America Rare. and Gavrioni, which is not that fun.
And
Or
then
Langerack.
Langerack. Okay. So in this example, it did not. Having the shot did not work out well.
Well, hold on. What was that? Game week 449? In Champion America Rare?
Right. So if he would have gotten first, right?
Let's see. You think it's messy?
Could be.
There's probably a lot of rewards that game week. Here we go. Champion America RIP. Rare.
Oh, God, that was like the greatest.
Oh, it's not bad. Whatever Weverton
is.
I think that's a midweek, though. Was that before? No, it was a weekend.
That is
Pre-MLS.
a terrible prize pool.
This is terrible. Yeah, this is really bad.
This is really ugly to look at.
Jeez. Wonder who played. See,
Funny enough,
Techers went
Matt Freeze for second seems awful then, but he's literally like the best MLS goalkeeper.
Yeah.
So like
Beavers for third. That's the kick in the face. And then Pulskamp twice. Oh.
Ferroni might not have been that bad, actually.
Yeah. This
had to be a midweek. This is too horrible to give credit to for a weekend.
I don't think so. 449 was a weekend. Oh wait,
with this even odd stuff. I can't follow it.
Hold on. Where did that card go? Hold on. Am I a year back? No, I'm not. Nep was right there, wasn't he?
Yeah, you got it. He's right there. Yeah, you got it.
I don't know.
Anyhow,
sometimes the prize pool is not that good.
Anyhow, he had a chance at a beaver.
Yeah.
But so I think wrapping up the shot conversation, because then I want to get a double game weeks and probably put Tuggy on blast here for a little bit. But to me, I think it's not only like the chance, obviously, of like making a line. Like I guess it's multifaceted. I want to hear your like conclusion take on this, but it's when you have great cards, making sure that like you actually get utility out. Like when like last week was a great example. Lucho Acosta had two great matchups. I actually captained him because of the double game week over Messi. Because I thought like Sean and I were both talking like we thought the chances of him dropping 100 were really, really, really high. He did. But if like you would have surrounded Lucho Acosta, put Tristan Blackman back here, putting Tristan Blackman in a lineup with Lucho Acosta when it's like one of his best matches of the year, that's like hurting your gallery because that one of your stalwart cards in a perfect matchup, you had to take a risk of having a Tristan Blackman come in and wreck your lineup or be benched or whatever. Like, so like that would have been a great time to buy a Kai Wagner or buy whoever. Like to make sure that the lineup was solidified. So I think it's not only having the shot of, as you're shaking your head. I'll finish.
I thought I was listening to Sean. Oh, you have Tristan Blackman. Just go buy Kai Wagner.
Well, I mean, you're going to get off of him.
You look genuinely offended that I said that.
I mean, if Kai Wagner was $3,000 like a year ago, that'd be one thing, but lots changed. But because I'm going to give Sean some credit here. If you own a Lucho Acosta, and let's say that you own a Cucho too, playing Tristan Blackman is stupid. That doesn't make sense in that type of lineup. So make sure that your good cards are protected. And then again, even if you got 17th place and you go, oh, that wasn't worth it. Well, if one guy might have done a little bit better, in an alternate universe, the guy drops 100 and you win first and you win a Messi, that's pretty cool. You wouldn't have the shot if you didn't buy the card.
Yeah. So. Nope, that's fair. We have a double game week coming up for a lot of teams, particularly in Major League Soccer. Might only be MLS. I don't even know. We talked about this, not we, meaning you, but I talked about this. Did I?
You didn't talk a lot. You did on the solo, but you didn't talk a lot about it. Like you just said how the double game week was awesome for you. So I don't think you went into the why.
Okay, so the reason it came up is because somebody was upset about the double game week because they felt they were losing utility.
Hold on, losing utility.
Right. So a player has 2 games. You would expect 2 shots to win, 2 rewards.
Yeah.
And with a double game week, you only get one. Keith, why is that okay?
Because I've got 2 bites at the apple to get a top scorer. And specifically, I'm going to give a shout out to Fripp on this because I think he was the first person I saw at least mention it. He was like, double game week at MLS, I'm coming after these thresholds. Like, gonna make Sorare pay for this. And I think specifically in threshold, in cap modes, or in All-Star, where you're going to have people putting in cards that don't have double game weeks, like, double game week is a huge advantage. Like, huge.
It's to the point where I wish they would keep, like, I would be willing to, like, if they could keep cap modes going, but have them over the course of like 2 weeks or a month. Lock up my cards for a month. I don't even care.
And I might even consider the top one.
Yeah. Well, so I hit the mid super rare threshold.
But you would have hit the top, yeah.
And I would have hit the top, but there was no way I was going.
No,
there's no way, despite how many shots or whatever, there is no way I'm building a lineup that has Brad Guzan in it and thinking this is going to win $1,000.
Do you know what the craziest thing too? I don't know if this is like your habits. Like I don't check the game week center as much as I do, but like when I'll go in, at one point I think for rare I was above the top threshold, and I was like so mad at myself. Like, you wimp! Come on, you could have done it. And then somebody got a yellow card and dropped below. I'm like, you're so smart.
I knew it.
I knew it.
No, I just think that, do you think it's because people don't, and I keep putting the word value, even though that you can't really quantify this as much as, or at least enough to make sense to people, but is it just that people don't understand truly what it means to get 2 opportunities to get this like stealing score? I
don't know. I'm honestly trying to think of Tuggy's reasons, because like we talk about our good friend. I should state that because we can be mean to him if we call him a good friend, right? Like that's how it works. I'm not going to be mean. I was
going to say, I don't think we're...
That was a dig at Sean.
Yes.
But Tuggy legitimately, as has been said, Tuggy's legitimately a scientist. Like, Tuggy is a smart dude, okay? And he was like arguing with you and I about like, I don't even remember what his argument was because it was like so absurd. It's like the double game week doesn't matter that much. I'm like, what are you talking about, man? Like, I have Cucho Hernandez, and he has 2 games, and the way that Cucho works, that's like 25 shots. Like, he's gonna take 25 shots in 2 games to score, or to score multiple goals, which is what he did. Or think about a defender. Like, let's even say like you don't have like a very good gallery. And like I've done a lot of Tristan Blackman negativity here. But what if like your gallery, you're like, dude, Tristan Blackman's like an important guy in my gallery. Like back off, Keith. That's 2 chances for Tristan Blackman, guy that's gotten on the end of headers. He could get a random clearance off the line. Like, you saw a horrible matchup. One of the 2 was away to LAFC or away to Columbus, and you're like, that's a terrible spot. I would have never considered him in a good lineup, but I liked that home matchup versus Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
And then the dude gets 2 clearances off the line and a last man tackle versus Columbus and puts up 80. And you would have never played him in that. Like,
never.
This double game week thing, Kai Wagner had a good home matchup. I don't remember against who. I think it was Montreal. And he had an away matchup versus Cincinnati. He put up no AA in the Cincinnati game, but got 2 assists. And that was his high score.
Yeah, he scored. It was home against Miami, but it was Messi-less Miami.
Messi-less Miami, and
he
hit it terrible.
66.
Oh, I have 2 high.
He actually smashed. AA-wise smashed, and then, got up to 70 against Cincinnati with negative AA.
No. So the double game week, that was the home versus Charlotte was the...
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right.
And he did terrible. But then he got how many AA versus...
-3.
So, like, but again, like, if I only had 1 game week, I probably was bumping Kai Wagner way down away to Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm.
So I would not have had him in a good spot. But because I had away to Cincinnati and home to Charlotte, I'm like, this is a great spot. He's going in all my top lineups. And I got the score that I didn't expect to take. Like, that's the advantage of a double game week.
Well, you expected to get 70 out of that game week.
Charlotte game. Charlotte.
Right.
Charlotte. Right. And guess what? On a normal week, a one game week, he would have gone in my top lineup. If Messi was in here, he would have been in with Messi. If Pooch was in, he would have been in with Pooch, and he would have wrecked it.
I think what kind of gets ignored is that it's really hard to get 5 peak scores in one game week. Like, we all know how hard it is to get that right. And when you have 2 game weeks, or excuse me, 2 opportunities within a game week, now you need 5 players to have good games over 10 games instead of 5. Like, you have more opportunities, and then you're not killing 2 game weeks worth of lineups. Like, I feel like we're actually going back on the whole, like, as long as you have a shot, because, like, hey, wouldn't you rather 2 shots? Like 2.
Yeah, but I'd much rather 2 than 1.
Yeah,
where the best one counts. It's like the replacement thing. Like, it's absurdly important. Like, it's actually not that it is and it isn't. Like, this coming weekend, it's like 2/3 of the MLS has double game weeks. There's a good amount of teams that don't. And, like, you had some good teams that don't have a double game. Like Seattle at home is a really good matchup. I don't remember who it's against, but it's like one that they should dominate. But they only have one game. So, like, those are good plays, but you only got the one shot. So I'm looking at my cat modes, and I'm only trying to make guys that have 2 shots. Like, I don't want to waste a double game week opportunity because I want double. There you go. They're home versus Chicago. I remember it being like a really good matchup. But you only got one shot. So a guy like Jordan Morris, who's not going to be putting up a ton of AA, that you're playing for the decisive, you much rather have him in a situation where you get 2 shots at the decisive versus, like, he does really well for him and he only gets 50.
Yeah, I never want Jordan Morris anywhere, but good example.
Probably good. I mean, I was going to use Rui Diaz, but he's not playing. He's not playing that game. I guess he yelled at somebody, yelled at the coach. He and who was it? Nuhu. Yeah. So, yeah, I just double game weeks, crazy important. But, what I was going to say, though, is like where it's not as important is like in Challenger, where everybody's playing guys with double game weeks. So if you have really good players, like, that helps, because somebody just made it a comment. Big time players are likely to get one of their higher outcome scores if you give them 2 shots. Yeah. And then your lower guys, though, are like, could get luck boxed too.
Yeah. What do you think about this? What if they're both away, both games?
I mean, I've already, we need to add like an exclude feature on Sorare Data Lineup Builder, and I can just exclude them. But that's where I'm just hoping for some luck. But there's a couple that have double away games. At least you have 2. At least you have 2 shots.
Toby said, so what you're saying is that I should prioritize U23 over Challenger with double game week guys. It's much more. I think those are the same. It's more like cat modes are better for double game week guys.
I think he's taking on one point that I made, and it's actually a really good question, because in U23 you're going to get a lot of guys that might have you played a J League, K League U23, and then you're coming in with your MLS double game week guy. You inherently have an advantage over them, but I think what we really like it as is 2 shots at the threshold, or like whatever threshold that you pick that you get to like.
That's actually interesting that I didn't consider that U23, and when we say cap, we really mean cap 240.
Right. But even like 270 having 2 shots when a lot of people are maybe using K League, J League guys in there, it makes sense.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, the opportunity to be able to make a lineup with double game week players and face as many lineups as you can that are not playing double game week players. So yeah, like Challenger will be filled with them because that's where you play them.
Yeah. Yeah. But again, if you can kind of go a little bit different,
right?
Zig, that could work. And
Yeah.
Mike just made me crack up. Principles abandoned when it's double game week. I think so. I think
like when you're on
we got a
vacation,
caveat.
there's no rules anymore.
Caveat to the rule.
Have you ever covered how pick scores address this in Sorare data? They don't.
It's just the first game.
Yeah, it's the problem. Somebody asked that too about showing double game weeks in the lineup builder. We are working on that. It's much trickier than.
Yeah, I can actually not even be technical. I can imagine it being tricky. Did Deke tweet, or is he in, like, if you join like whatever service he has he shared it with us, the
like win probabilities.
Calendar, yeah. I don't know if that's a tweet or if you have to be part of whatever, but follow Deke. Deke does awesome stuff, and he has a really good calendar that shows the win probabilities for both, and you can easily see who has a double game week, who doesn't.
I think. Do we have all the odds? Sorry, I was looking to see if our matchups page had all of them. Well, I think they do. Yeah. So if you just go to the matchups page, Harry and I will do this on our preview show tomorrow. But you can see sort of the MLS teams that are up.
So what does it have them though as separate? So I'll see LAFC.
So it's like LAFC against Colorado, and then
they only have one game. They only one. Dude, Houston has two. I know for sure. If you wanted to look for that, Houston has two.
Sorry, I went to. Challengers. So Houston 53% to win against Charlotte, and then 21% away to RSL.
Yeah. Okay, so they show them as separate.
Yeah. Oh, his are together?
Yeah, he has it on like an Excel chart, and then you can even like see right away which one doesn't. He shows on his preview. But hey, Deke does great work. Sorare data does fantastic work too. So whichever one you want to go.
Deke's level of work is insane. That dude, like,
yeah, I don't.
Only I had that work ethic.
So, before we end, I have a little bone to pick, Laird.
Would you like to make a donation?
You and Jim are out here like making me sound like the guy at the store that just like F off. Like, I'm not giving you guys anything. So
I thought it was the opposite. I'm sorry. I thought we tried to portray you as always saying yes. My fault.
You said I don't go shopping because of it. But yes.
You're right. I definitely did not give you the full. Didn't give.
I was like, whoa! I just caught a massive stray there. No.
Yeah. Sorry. Let me just clarify for people who did not watch or listen to yesterday's show with me and Jimmer. There was a point of the conversation where we talked about here in the States, when you go to, grocery store, supermarket, they will ask you if you want to make a donation to whatever charity that they're doing. Either you like round up your purchase. So if it's $35.26, they'll ask if you want to round up the 74 cents and that'll get donated. Or if you just want to make some sort of monetary donation to whatever charity that they are raising money for. And Keith asked Andy and I once what we do in these situations. And Andy and I were like, we're both like hard no's. Like we just say no and we move on. And Keith was like,
I feel guilty. I feel really guilty. So what I have to do is so like the worst part too is to do these promotions. So I've already been at the store. Hold on. Laird's.
For saying that I basically Shawnified you by claiming you never go out, you never go shopping.
Which is the worst part because I have to go like every damn day. We always forget something. But so what I do, which isn't that much better, but I'll like go.
This actually wasn't tipping. This is like
donation.
Yeah.
But what I like to do, if I know there's a promotion going on, they've already got me the first day. Because it's an awkward conversation to go, no, I donated yesterday. Or sometimes it's your second time at the store in a day. I donated earlier, but it was like to a different guy.
I think it needs to be a conversation.
I feel guilty. I feel like I'm spending $75 here and they're asking for $1, and I'm like, no, like I feel bad. So I really like to, if I know there's a promo, I'll only go to like the Publixes, is the store around here that have the self checkout, so I can dodge the lady or the guy asking for the tip. Now, what I want to ask you guys though, so that's bad, but whatever.
Does it ever pop up on the self checkout that if you want to
No, but one time a guy did come to me, and I'm like, oh my god, they got me. Like, this isn't gonna work anymore. And of course, I gave $1 because I
so
feel bad.
the ones here like ask if you want to do it even on the self checkout.
So I have another question for you here, but this was complete bullshit of what they pulled. But this one grocery store by me, when they're doing the donations, they like have shifts that they sit in a little prison. They literally had like a box cut out, and they're like, "I'm not allowed to leave till I get $50." I'm like, "Oh my god!" Like,
that's awful.
And I give them a 5 because I'm like, I can't get you out of prison today, but at least I can get you a start.
That's awful.
It was real. It really pulled on my heart. Like, one time I even went and used a debit card, which I never used, got cash just so I could give money to the guy. I felt so bad.
So the worst part is that you are enabling this.
Oh, 100%. Like, I'm the target market.
Yeah.
Because then too, like, I don't know if you've seen this, but I'll watch people dodge eye contact. Like, I'm just not going to pretend to see the guy over there so I don't have to donate. It's like, no. We all see him. It's like the kids. When the kids are outside the grocery store for like basketball or baseball, you're a jerk if you don't get
Girl Scouts.
Last question, then we'll go. Sorry to go off topic, but it's really important. If you go pick up pizza.
This is really important.
This has bugged me, and I want to chat too. If you go pick up pizza, Papa John's, Domino's, Pizza Hut, you go pick it up, are you tipping?
I thought we talked about that.
I think you guys might have, but I'm a hard no there. And I'm Jimmer made a great point about like how much money you spend dictates the amount, which I thought was a fantastic point. Like, I hadn't thought about that way. That was like a light bulb.
Well, how absurd that is.
Yeah.
So I do tip those in those instances, but I also, and it shouldn't actually matter now that I think about it, but I don't I don't go to like chain restaurants. Like, I tend to only eat at like local.
Yeah. It shouldn't matter, but it
shouldn't matter. And I never really thought about it at all, because it's still, I mean, there's still humans working at both. But I do some, like, sometimes I do.
Do you know what's the other one that doesn't make any sense to me? And chat's going to probably say I'm terrible. Like Starbucks and Dunkin'. Why am I tipping?
Why is it any different than?
I already said I don't tip at Papa John's and stuff.
You're right.
Like, you're literally sitting behind a counter. I've had to come in. I don't get that one.
I like this from ZM Star saying his membership at Costco is only to not be harassed.
But no, Costco, they harass you on the way out. The guy trying to sell.
That's what he's saying. He's annoyed that they will still do it.
Okay. I thought he was trying to like say like the cashier won't harass you, but the guys now will.
Peter said that's why you use the app. To be honest, it makes absolutely no sense why I think this, but if I pay ahead of time, I'm like convinced that if I tip, my food,
they're gonna screw you. They're gonna screw you up. Yes, I'm 100% there too. That's why I'll just like pay in cash so that I don't have to like.
Oh, that makes sense. Hilo said I tip $1 for an alcoholic drink, but never tip for coffee, and no idea why.
There's different vices. Sorry.
Especially when you get a cold brew, that's just pouring.
McDonald's is asking for tips before we know it over here.
Isn't all coffee just pouring?
I think if the baristas do all the foam and all the But seriously, I consider, like, if I'm driving through, I don't get the fancy stuff. I literally get black coffee half the time, or I'll just get a little bit of cream, like no sugar. Like, it's not that hard to make mine.
Yeah, this is exactly how I feel, Peter. I tip at locally owned places, which, like, the tips theoretically are not going to the people who own. Like, we're tipping because the people who own the places don't pay their employees enough.
It's actually a really screwed up logic. I do the same thing. Like, I'm more apt to do at the local place. But on the Starbucks thing, there's no difference if you're hitting the drive-thru. That and McDonald's.
No, none.
Yet one expects to tip. They're going to screw with your latte.
Mickey said you should tip a limited card next time.
Hey, you into crypto, bro? I got something for you.
Scan this QR code to sign up for Sorare, and I will send you a limited card depending on how good the phone is on
What
this.
are these extra rivals tickets? That's for next time.
That's right. Here's a Guzan for the nice latte art you made for me. Oh, Peter, buy 5 limited cards and you'll get your tip. Oh my God. Magnus, do you tip your kid's teacher if they're doing a good job?
You give them.
We should.
Teacher appreciation gifts.
I was going to say that. Yeah, we have a whole week of it. Anyway.
Sorry for that.
I'm glad we clarified all of that because I feel bad now because I do feel like I painted you in a light an inaccurate light. Yeah. All right, last one. Do you tip after a haircut?
Yeah, way too much.
Me too. I think it's way too much also.
No, you don't understand. Like, I normally tip the cost of the cut.
Wow. That is a lot.
But it's only like $20 around here. And I feel like they...
$20? Wow, that's pretty good. Mine's almost
Make somebody's day, man. Make somebody's day.
I need a haircut anyway.
Hold on. Make somebody's day, but not the barista.
Right. Yeah. Haircuts over coffee. Thank you to everybody for coming. If you could please like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Shout out to Quiddy. Oh man, where'd that go? I will be back tomorrow with Harry Trades, the game week deadline show, or not the game week deadline show, the game week preview. 9 a.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. No, 2 p.m. 2 p.m. UK tomorrow, 24 hours before the deadline, which is Saturday. I know we all submitted lineups today. The next game week literally starts Saturday. So we'll be back for that. And maybe a solo stream tomorrow afternoon. We'll see. Anyway, thank you everybody for coming. Thank you for your tips.